Hello and welcome to this production of Food Waste Prevention from Kids Feeding Kids, the education initiative of Pete's Garden. This is Diane Mora, Education Director. In this professional development, I'll be showcasing many of the materials we offer related to preventing food waste for grades 7 through 12. You can adopt or adapt these to create real-world learning outcomes for your content, grade level, and learners. Thanks for joining me. Addressing food insecurity and preventing food waste is a shared mission of Pete's Garden and Kids Feeding Kids that enables more families to experience the benefits of regularly sharing healthy meals together. But we approach the work in different ways. Pete's Garden collects surplus, nutritious, fully cooked food from food service operators throughout Kansas City's hospitality and tourism industry and portion packs it into family-style meals that are donated for free to families across the Kansas City metro. This prevents high-quality proteins, vegetables, and grains from becoming landfill and negatively impacting the environment. At the time of this recording, Pete's Garden collects enough surplus prepared food to provide high-quality meals to 600 families each day, 6 days a week. Kids Feeding Kids is a multi-state education initiative of Pete's Garden and focuses on providing standards-aligned teaching resources and funding for community service projects in grades 7 through 12 focused on food equity and sustainable food systems. We're partnering with schools across 9 states and counting. If you haven't already viewed it, you might enjoy watching the companion video, Food Insecurity in the U.S., that demonstrates how Kids Feeding Kids aligns culinary skills and service learning projects with a fact-based understanding of the root causes of food insecurity. This alignment of facts with human experience results in an effective, purposeful community service project with quantifiable, standards-aligned learning outcomes. In 2025, we were proud to receive funding from a USDA SARE grant to increase Kids Feeding Kids educational outreach in grades 7 through 12, specifically in the area of educating and promoting the reduction of food waste. Some of the resources I share today come from what I developed for the SARE project. In this video, we'll ground ourselves in the facts about food waste, get inspired by the positive actions of others, and examine where preventing food waste can align with a variety of content standards to effectively engage teachers and students to take action appropriate to their communities. It's important for every consumer to understand food systems and reduce food waste, or even better, prevent good food from ever being wasted. After viewing this video, you'll be able to identify and clarify misunderstandings in terminology, examine some of the Kids Feeding Kids resources and classroom-ready materials, and leave this PD confident to apply these real-world solutions in your classroom, professional setting, or even your personal life. Guided notes, activities, and classroom slide decks are standard elements of the learning materials we provide. As a reminder, these resources, along with all of our PD, are always offered at no cost to our partner teachers and school districts. If you're participating in one of our classroom projects or in one of our professional development tracks, you have full access. And if not, please use the QR code at the end of this video to contact us about participating. Your first task is a challenge. By the end of this webinar, can you uncover this person's identity from clues in the presentation? Will you be able to explain why he's important to Pete's Garden and Kids Feeding Kids? There's a place in your guided notes to write down an initial guess right now. What is your current understanding of whether it is safe, permitted, or legal for food operators to donate cooked, surplus food to people who need it? Notice that my question emphasizes fully prepared and cooked surplus food. not just packaged items or uncooked produce like you might already be regularly donating to a food pantry. Be sure to circle back at the conclusion of this video to see if your thoughts have changed with any new knowledge you might have gained. Let's get started by having a bit of fun while we learn some facts. When I visit classrooms in person, I like to draw students into the conversation in ways they can relate to while laying a foundation for inquiry. My approach resulted in this game show-styled activity, the Kids Feeding Kids Food Waste Showdown. After fulfilling the expectations of a Kids Feeding Kids Educator PD, partner teachers have access to this activity and the entire food waste prevention module. For this recording, I've shortened the activity a bit to give you a snapshot view of running it in your classroom. Now, let's test your knowledge about food waste. I selected these 5 grocery items based on research of the most commonly wasted grocery items by U.S. households and verified statistics related to the amount of household waste for each one. I invite you to pause the video and see if you can list the retail price of each of the 5 items you see on screen, and calculate the amount of money wasted by the consumer given the waste percentages I've provided. If you need to use a calculator for factoring, that's fair game, but searching Google or chat for help is strictly forbidden. Of course, there are shocking realities behind the numbers for each of these grocery items. In classrooms, I recommend analyzing each of the 5 in depth with your students, similar to what you see here. To increase discussion opportunities, each slide in the teacher resources contains discussion points in the show notes. There, you'll find interesting but disturbing facts, such as 40% waste of chopped salad mix from each household adds up to about 37,000 tons of uneaten salad from all U.S. households. This is the equivalent of 178 million 48-ounce bags like the one you see here going uneaten every year. The waste statistic shocks people who love to bake. Did you know that Americans are estimated to throw away around 5 billion bananas annually? 5 billion bananas would weigh about 650,000 tons. That's a lot of bananas. By now, you get the idea. Across only these 5 common items, more than 1/3 of grocery spending is lost. When we reveal outcomes as personal, we can encourage strategies that over time change purchasing habits for our benefit and the benefit of the environment. This activity motivates students through engagement and evidence, which helps drive the conversation from household habits to uncovering systems and understanding terminology and policy. A majority of students are motivated to take action. This can be as simple as them having conversations over the family dinner table or by providing habit-forming prevention actions like these that students can try with friends, families, and caregivers at home. SaveTheFood.com is one of my favorite sites for inspiration and realistic changes that are easily habit-forming. I appreciate the site for its clear and practical approach to preventing waste and maximizing dollars. You're viewing a few of my favorite tips that you're likely already familiar with, and I've linked the site in my list of references where you and your students can search for more ideas. Every item we waste carries embedded costs: water, labor, fuel, infrastructure, long before it reaches a serving dish. When we prevent food from being wasted, we interrupt loss across the entire system. The 2 questions on your screen offer a significant opportunity to build research, analysis, and critical thinking skills. I recommend placing students in pairs or small groups and making it a challenge to see who can create the most extensive web of waste for one of the 5 grocery items presented in Food Waste Showdown. The objective is to reinforce that every action we take to prevent food waste at home reduces and often prevents waste in all of these other connected areas. Everyone can exponentially reduce food waste simply by beginning at home. Let's turn our attention to why it can be difficult to have conversations about food waste and what makes it so hard to disrupt the dynamics that prevent us from decreasing it. Climate scientist Richard Somerville and journalist Susan Joy Hassel demonstrated how misunderstandings of scientific language and general usage can widen the gap for understanding and action in dialogues pertaining to climate change, unintentionally creating barriers to public reception and participation. Their research focuses on climate change dialogues, but it informs my examination of how similar misalignments in language within food systems, particularly around food waste, can undermine consumer understanding and inhibit meaningful engagement. Being able to translate the industry's language of food waste creates a bridge to understanding that gives students greater confidence to engage in the discussion and places them in a position to teach others. In a classroom setting, I recommend creating a manipulative or interactive matching activity or a scavenger hunt, using these terms to get students up and moving around. Students can find partners whose terms correspond to each other, like I've done for you in the dark gray area on screen. This is another resource in the Food Waste Prevention module and the Right to Nourish project that Kids Feeding Kids partner teachers can access. 2 more terms, food loss and food waste, are foundationally important. These are often used interchangeably by media and other well-intentioned individuals, but they are significantly different in meaning and scope. Food loss occurs from harvest up to retail, and even this is broken down into 2 categories of cause. Sources who track food loss at the pre-harvest stage indicate that as much as 30% of a farmer's crop might be left in the field just for looking imperfect in the eyes of consumers. Food loss that occurs after harvest or during processing and distribution happens for many reasons that are often unpredictable or unavoidable due to things like power outages or mechanical malfunctions. Food waste occurs in retail spaces, food service operations, and from what we as consumers waste in our households. Have you ever wondered what happens to unsold prepared items at the end of each day when the C-store, grocery, or bakery guarantees that what you are buying is made fresh daily? I'll leave this for you and your students to think about. Right now, let's continue unpacking the misunderstandings around food waste and food donations. Confusion and misunderstanding isn't limited to consumers. Professionals across the food industry continue to be misinformed or even uninformed when it comes to correctly answering the question, is it legal to donate prepared surplus food or isn't it? I invite you to use the guided notes to track what you discover about food donation laws as we watch this 5-minute video together.
Wow, so many guests didn't show up for this rehearsal dinner. None of this was served.
Toss it. Who are you calling?
Top chef Tom Colicchio.
Hold on. You know him?
I do.
Hey, Wendy. Yeah, it was fun to see the kids yesterday. How's the new job?
It's great, but I've got a question. We've got plates we didn't serve, and I don't want to just toss the food.
Yeah, no problem. You have options. You know, as you know, safe food can always be donated through a nonprofit. like a food bank. But now there's a new law that expands liability protections for qualified donors to directly donate food to individuals. So as a restaurant, you can make a direct donation to, say, a senior center.
But if somebody gets sick, we get sued.
Well, the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act already provides liability protections for donors who donate good food in good faith. So don't worry about getting lawyers involved tonight.
That's awesome, Tom. Thanks.
Food is made to be eaten, so I'm glad I can help here.
It's 20 dinners. Can you use them?
All right, guys, that's it. Let's get to the wedding.
Stop! 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 The party was a no-show. The reception's canceled. All this food, and we're slammed today.
Okay, I know someone at Parks and Rec. Maybe we could give them a call, see if they can use it today.
No, we can't donate that way.
Okay, give me a minute. Let me get in touch with Tom Colicchio.
Sure, just call Top Chef.
Hey there, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, man, we got a canceled order, man. I say donate, but my boss says no.
Sure, you can definitely donate. Put me on speaker.
Got you.
Hi, so there's a new law that provides liability protection to even more kinds of food donation. A donation of safe food through food rescue organizations was already protected. But this law expands liability protections to donors like a caterer who can now make direct donations to individuals instead of going through, a charitable organization. As long as it's done in good faith, you're covered.
Thanks, good to know.
Okay, that's great. Looks like they can use the food.
Okay.
Great, food is made to be eaten, so I'm glad I can help. Yep, take care. Hey.
I knew you'd have your own restaurant one day. What are you gonna do with all this delicious sauce that didn't get served?
Toss it.
What's the matter with you? Didn't I teach you anything? You're supposed to donate it.
It doesn't work like that. You can't just donate food, and I don't want to get sued.
Sue, I'm gonna call Tom Colicchio. He will set you straight.
Grandma, you don't know it.
Hey there. Hey, how's the new restaurant?
Never mind all that. I'm here with my grandson, and he's gonna be throwing away some perfectly wonderful sauce because he thinks he's gonna get sued. Did you please help me out here?
Sure. Have your grandson put me on speakerphone. I'll explain.
Put her on speakerphone.
Hey there, so there's a new food donation law that took the existing liability protections under the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act and extended protections for qualified donors making direct food donations.
Grandma, we're not a qualified donor.
But you are. Restaurants, caterers, food trucks, hotels, colleges, you're all qualified donors. I've had her marinara sauce. It is delicious. So as long as you're making that donation in good faith, you're protected. Listen to your grandmother. Food is made to be eaten.
Hello? Thanks. Yes, I will see you at bingo later.
Okay, so now I need to reset my voicemail. Okay. So hi, you've reached Tom Colicchio. If you're calling with questions about food donations, please listen to the following. Up to 40% of food in our country goes unsold or uneaten. Now, because of updates to the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act, it is easier than ever to donate food. The act already protects donations of safe food made in good faith if they are donated through a nonprofit, which can also bring tax benefits. That continues to be true, and with the updates to the act, a qualified donor can now donate food directly to individuals and receive the same legal protections. If you are in the business of preparing and serving food, you are a likely qualified donor. Think caterers, food trucks, hotels, universities and colleges, restaurants, grocery stores. So go ahead, donate. A quick internet search will take you to food donation opportunities and potential recipients. We are all committed to decreasing food waste because food is made to be eaten. So please leave a message. Hopefully I can help out.
These are the two federal laws referred to in the video that remove the liability food service operators fear the most. These laws protect donations of surplus food made in good faith and go a step further to encourage donation. Some states and principalities enhance these federal laws to incentivize donations through tax credits or additional legislation. Students exploring culinary and hospitality careers need more knowledge of food donation laws. Understanding the problems and misinformation in our food systems also allows for career exploration in public policy, economics, media and public communications, climate resilience, and human services. At this point, we've clarified the terminology and examined legal protections. With all of that information readily available, why don't all restaurants, hotels, caterers, and grocery stores donate food? The founder of Pete's Garden and Kids Feeding Kids is Tamara Weber. Tamara is a mom and Kansas City nonprofit leader who asked herself that very question. When she wasn't satisfied with the answers, Tamara created her own solution. I think you'll agree that her story provides the inspiration we need to take action in our own communities. Let's listen.
Executive Director of Pete's Garden. Thank you for taking a few minutes today to learn about the food waste problem in your community and how you can help solve it. Back in 2019, my daughter had a school project about food waste. As part of it, we watched the documentary Wasted. The statistics grabbed my attention. Food waste in landfills causes at least 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. In the United States, nearly 90 million tons of food are wasted every year. That's about 500 pounds per person. I had never thought much about food waste before, but it hit me deeply because of how I grew up. In my family, we didn't waste food, especially not the vegetables my dad Pete grew in his garden. Seeing images of perfectly good food dumped into trash bins felt personal. I knew how much work went into growing that food. So my daughter and I started looking for ways to help in Kansas City, and what we learned surprised us. Compared to other cities, Kansas City was lagging behind in addressing food waste. Now, at the same time, I was also a full-time working mom, and the hardest part of my day was dinner time between 5:30 and 7 p.m. I wanted to make family mealtime a habit for my family. Maybe not quite leave it to Beaver, but you get the idea. Growing up, dinner together was non-negotiable. We talked, we connected, and I wanted that for my family too. But the reality of work and parenting made it really hard. At my job, there was an on-site cafeteria, and every afternoon they sold take-home meals, things like salmon or lasagna, and those meals made my evenings so much more manageable. That's when the idea clicked. What if surplus, ready-to-eat food became family dinners instead of trash? I started talking to chefs at schools and restaurants, and over I heard the same thing. Food was being thrown away because chefs didn't know where to donate it, or they were worried about liability issues if the food wasn't handled properly. So I shared my idea with Operation Breakthrough, a Head Start program here in Kansas City. Their CEO agreed to try it, and she even offered up their commercial kitchen for the work. So in November of 2019, the week before Thanksgiving, I picked up surplus food for the very first time and packaged it into take-home meals. It went home with families at Operation Breakthrough that same day. Today, Pete's Garden recovers over 5,000 pounds of food every week. We partner with professional sports teams, schools, restaurants, and convention centers. We rescue high-quality foods, and our volunteers repackage it as free family dinners. About 1,000 families take home a weekly meal, like these two moms. Our motto is simple: less food waste, more family meals, because good food belongs on family dinner tables, not in the trash. And I'm really proud to report that we're on track to distribute a total of 1 million meals by the end of 2027. Just as our food recovery program was getting started in 2019, the pandemic hit. Food businesses shut down overnight and we had to adapt. That's when we launched a real-world learning program called Kids Feeding Kids, where high school students learn about the root causes of food insecurity and prepare free take-home meals for families in their community. Since our pilot in 2021, over 4,000 students have participated across 6 states. And today, Pete's Garden runs both programs. Our food recovery program serves families across Kansas City, while our Kids Feeding Kids program is growing to reach students across the country. My hope is that your Kids Feeding Kids experience inspires you to see food differently and to find your own way to make sure good food gets where it belongs. Thank you so much for listening. I can't wait to hear your ideas and see the impact you create.
It's time to unveil the name of our mystery man, the late Missouri Congressmember Bill Emerson. It's his commitment to solving hunger through food donations that enables Tamara, Pete's Garden, and countless others to continue this work. View the Kids Feeding Kids Right to Nourish video overview for a deep dive into how food insecurity can be relieved by designing systems to prevent good food from going to landfills, how policy continues to shape the outcome of these efforts to feed people, and how Kids Feeding Kids enables students to engage in the movement to create these solutions. According to the EPA, writing and speaking about prevention and redistribution sit at the highest levels of eliminating and reducing food waste. That's where Pete's Garden and Kids Feeding Kids operate, and where we support classrooms in connecting real-world learning to actionable outcomes. Across the food system, people are testing solutions, from using AI technology that strengthens prevention and redistribution efforts directly in kitchen operations in real time, to collaborating across sectors, solving logistics through partnerships that analyze supply chains for greater efficiency and recovery. Food waste prevention isn't just about environmental work. It's community-driven work. It's career exploration. It's real-world learning. This matters for students exploring careers connected to food systems and includes farmers, food manufacturers, retailers, food service operators, as well as policymakers and consumers. Like our mystery man, Bill Emerson, nonprofit leader Tamara Weber, educators like you and myself, and every consumer, virtually anyone can do something to improve the systems and policies for reducing food waste and increasing our ability to get nutritious meals into the hands of families who need them. As concerned citizens, we can also use our votes and the dollars we spend to influence policy and industry. Policy changes result in legislation, but it starts with awareness and citizen participation, including student-led advocacy, policy awareness, and career-connected experiences. In the Right to Nourish project, detailed in a separate video, we'll specifically look at how students can engage meaningfully at different points along this continuum. Today, we analyzed why food waste and food loss are often misunderstood, examined ready-to-use credible learning materials that align with real-world classroom instruction, and evaluated how households, classrooms, and communities can prevent waste. I hope you'll be able to adapt key takeaways from this video for your instructional setting. My work is driven by the belief that teachers and students are agents of social change and community leadership. Through resources like those provided today, Kids Feeding Kids is proud to support the efforts of educators to advance understanding of personal and collective human needs, wellness, and community vitality. The QR code shown on screen will take you to our mailing list, where you can easily register for notifications about upcoming in-person professional development opportunities directly from Kids Feeding Kids. Comments or questions are always welcome and can be sent to me or reach out to the founder and executive director of Pete's Garden, Tamara Weber. Our emails are shown here on screen. I hope you'll join us for other online and in-person professional development.